So today we are going to talk about unit conversion. So you are given quantity in one unit and you want to express the quantity in a given another unit. So this is somewhat of a small topic. So let's go over some of these examples. I mean, the unit conversion in the SI systems is very simple. Usually it's a factor of 10 or 100 that you need to worry about. The tricky unit conversions we are going to go through, these are you converting time units, basically days into hours or hours into minutes or minutes into seconds and so on, because the factor is not 10. And also temperature sometimes, because temperature scales Fahrenheit and Celsius, they are not related by such a simple factor of 10 or any such thing. They are related, but they are not related by a constant factor. Some tricky unit conversions are if you want to convert from miles to kilometers or from miles to feet, or such conversions are trickier because the factor is not 10. But so that's the main advantage of using the SI units or the metric units, where the unit one unit and can be easily converted to any other unit by simple factors of 10. So let's go over these examples and hopefully that will clarify things. Okay, so the first one, 2.5 kilometers is how many meters? So one thing to remember is kilo means 1000. Let me write that down. Is important. Kilo corresponds to 1000. Mega corresponds to 1 million, which is 10 to the power 6 basically. So these are the SI units prefixes. So these are the standard prefixes. So suppose someone says milli, this corresponds to 1 divided by 1000, which is same as 10 to the power minus 3. Someone says micro, this is 1 divided by 10 to the power 6, or the inverse of mega, which is 10 to the power minus 6, and so on. There are such standard prefixes for every power of every third power of 10. You will get to know them when you see them, but these are sufficient for our purpose right now. So kilo means 1000. So 2.5 kilometers is equal to 2.5 kilo, just means 1000, so times 1000 meter, which is 2500 meter. So let's write this down, 2500. This was straightforward. Let's do another one that is straightforward in the same vein here. This is let's do the third one first. We want to convert kilograms into grams. 6.92 kilograms is how many grams? That's the question. So again, kilo means 1000, is 6.92 times 1000 grams, which is 6,920 grams. So this is 6,920 grams. If you want to convert back, for example, suppose we are given, I'm just taking a hypothetical example. Suppose someone says, say 15,389, some number, grams is equal to how many kilograms? So again, we want to convert from grams to kilograms. Kilo means 1000. So this is equal to 15,389 divided by 1000 kilograms, because kilo is 1000, which is 15.389 kilogram. See how easy it is using metric or SI units to go from one unit to another unit. That at least for the units of distance and units of mass, you can easily convert them using these factors of 10, as opposed to if you have pounds and ounces and tablespoons. These are non-standard units, and converting between them is odd. It's not so clean. Okay, so having made that point, let's talk about the second example here. We want to convert hours to minutes to seconds. So we are given 3 hours is equal to how many minutes is equal to how many seconds. That's the question. So let's talk about that. 3 hours is equal to how many minutes is equal to how many seconds. That's the question. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. This is unfortunately not a power of 10. The 60 is not a power of 10, but it's fine. It's not as complicated. So let's first convert 3 hours to minutes. So 3 hours is equal to 3 times 60 minutes. This is equal to 180 minutes. Now we are further asked is equal to how many seconds. So 3 hours is, we know, is 180 minutes is equal to 180 times 60 seconds. So which is 18 times 6 is 108, and there were 2 zeros here that I ignored, so let's put them back. So that's how we can quickly do multiplication. Take the powers of 2, or rather take the powers of 10 out, write them as separate zeros in the end, but 18 times 6 is 108, this, and then write the 2 zeros that we ignored. So this is 10,800 seconds. So this is 180 minutes, which is 10,800 seconds. The fourth one is interesting, Fahrenheit to Celsius. And just as an anecdote, so when I first saw this question or similar question when I was a kid, I was not formally taught how to do this conversion, but I used a method, and let's use that same method. So let's write this down. 104 degree Fahrenheit is equal to how many Celsius? So 104 degree Fahrenheit is equal to how many Celsius? How many degrees Celsius? So it's somewhat straightforward, but let's go through the motion. Without directly using the formula, let's derive the formula, because that teaches us something. So we know that both these scales, the Celsius and Fahrenheit, these scales are defined in terms of boiling points of water. So let's write that down. So let's first write down, so this is the melting point of ice, and boiling point of water. Let's write this down in both Celsius and Fahrenheit. First let's down Fahrenheit and then Celsius. So the melting point of ice for the Fahrenheit scale is defined as 32 degree Fahrenheit, and boiling point of water is defined to be 212 degree Fahrenheit. Same for Celsius scale, the melting point of ice is defined as 0 degree Celsius, and boiling point of water is defined as 100 degree Celsius. This is the definition of Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. So and then for Celsius you divide this into 100 equal parts, and each part is called 1 degree Celsius. Same thing with Fahrenheit, 32 and 212. These are the fixed points. These are the melting and boiling points of ice and water respectively. These are defined as 32 and 212 for reasons that we don't need to go into right now. And then you define, so this is 180. The length of the scale is 180 degree Fahrenheit. This is 100 degree Celsius. The length or the distance between melting point and boiling point, this is 180. So you divide this difference into 180 equal parts, and each part is 1 degree Celsius. So this tells us that we need to convert from, so this 104 degree Celsius is somewhere in between, between 32 and 212, and so it will lie somewhere between 0 and 100. But exactly where will it lie? Let's find that out. So we know that, suppose we are given a temperature T. I want to write this as a Fahrenheit, and also suppose this temperature is given in Celsius. So T degree Celsius basically. If I want to convert this into Fahrenheit, how will I do the conversion? So I know that its distance, so it's like this. So this is 0, suppose this is 100, and this is somewhere is T. I don't know where it is. And on Fahrenheit scale it will look like this. I'm going to draw it in a dotted line. Let's call it T prime. This number is 32. This number is 212. This is the Fahrenheit scale. This is Celsius scale. And this is the Fahrenheit scale. So I know that T minus 0 divided by 100 should be equal to T prime minus 32 divided by 212 minus 32, because that, so this ratio on the left just represents this length as a fraction of this entire length. So this must be equal to this T minus 32, or rather T prime minus 32 divided by this 212 minus 32, because you are the same distance away from melting and boiling point of ice on both scale and boiling point of water on both scales. So this ratio has to hold. So we know that T divided by 100 is equal to T prime minus 32 divided by 180. This is the defining equation. This is the unit conversion equation. You can look up this equation or you can derive it just like we said. This is the unit conversion equation. So in our example, what all is given to us? So we know that this T prime is 104 and we are asked what is T. So let's go through the math here. This is 100, not 10 degrees. So T is equal to 100 times 104 minus 32 divided by 180, which is 100 times 104 minus 32. Let's do the quick. 4 minus 2 is 2, 10 minus 3 is 7, 72 divided by 180. So these are both numbers, these are divisible by 18. So 18 times 4 is 72, 18 times 10 is 180. So this is 100 times 4 divided by 10, which is 40. So therefore our temperature, so 100, so let me write this down, 104 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 40 degrees Celsius. The actual answer is not as important as the method of deriving the answer. Go through this method again, because this is fundamental, and if you understand this, you'll understand many other things. So how do you convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius? Basically you have to understand what the definition of the unit is, and then you can do the unit conversion. And this might sound somewhat non-trivial, how we are converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit by taking the ratio of distance to melting point of ice and boiling point of water and so on, but this is the way to do it. So this is somewhat advanced, more advanced than I wanted to make this video, but it is what it is. So it's still good. So let's write this down. This is 40 degrees Celsius, and okay, that's it. So talk to you next time.